Aloha. And now I have Alalani. I haven't seen you in so long. I miss you, Alalani. How are you
I
doing?
miss you too. What do we go back like 30 years
30
now?
years, 30 years. I remember,
Mm.
yeah, when I was living out in Hawaii, and I met you and Nahi. And so now I stay in touch with you through Facebook.
That's kind of our world today, isn't it? Like we're connecting each other a lot in social media. Any way we can stay connected, especially if we live way out there.
Yeah, no, I definitely love what you're doing and how you've grown and how many people you help with your ceremonies. You do sacred ceremonies. You do many weddings and many blessings and many things. But I saw the post you started posting, and I was so excited that you got involved with Ron in the Lei of Aloha. And I remember the first time I saw the Lei of Aloha, and I thought, this is such a beautiful thing to do. I hope they keep it going. And indeed it did. So maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about the Lei of Aloha and how you found out about it, where it began.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, aloha vinala to everyone and that's connecting right now. And I begin this in this time together, that we continue to send our heartfelt condolences to everyone in New Zealand as we begin this, that we can unite right now in the spirit of aloha as we're here together, Cindy. Mm-hmm. So I've been involved with the Lei of Aloha since the very first lei, and it began in a vision. It was actually in 2015, the first one after the bombing in Paris, and Ron Ponzo just felt that Paris needed a hug, needed some aloha to go out there, and thought to bring the community together to weave a 1 mile lei to bring the gift of aloha, that peace and that love to all those who were mourning. And the Maui community, they just responded, and within days we had hundreds of volunteers, and those and Ron, and coming here from the birthplace of this all at Nalo South Shore Grill, and with Kavika and Joe and all those, and Stacy and all those connected. And we wove this 1 mile lei. It was like, how are we going to do a 1 mile lei?
Yeah.
It's like the thought of going from Azekas all the way to Kamiole, and
wow.
and it happened, and that was delivered to the people of Paris. And from there, after the attack, there was another one in Orlando, which I'm sure so many of you know, and the Stoneman Douglas High School, and as well in Parkland, Florida. We sent out one to Washington, not for political reasons, but to just solidarity. And that went to the Stone of Hope Monument, the Dr. Martin Luther King Monument, and ended up in the Women's March in a different level. We gave one when the Hokulea came back, and it was beautiful to go over for that one in Oahu, and then ended up adorning and loving, sending that aloha to all four sides on her journey back. And we did Paddle for Life to raise money for the Pacific Cancer Foundation. And we did Las Vegas. That was really close to home. So they've always been a 1 mile, or they've been 5 miles. And in those times, other islands have come together. And if I can share, I'd love to share with you the mission statement of the Lei of Aloha.
Yes.
So the amazing thing is that Prime Minister had just said, and her sharing for New Zealand, that we are one. So that has always been the motto for the Lei of Aloha, weaving together tea leaves from the birthplace of Maui to Kauai, to Big Island, Hawaii, Kaupo, Keanai, to haiku, weaving love and aloha to wrap around the people of the world. The Lei of Aloha bringing us together to grieve, to heal, to connect, to lift our collective spirits. When we lift one, we lift us all. And that the Lei of Aloha is about connections, that we sit side by side, weaving lei, weaving conversation, weaving friendship, weaving prayers, weaving leaves of every color, from red to yellow to pink to light green to dark green, weaving the people, whether gay or straight, Hawaiian, Asian, Hispanic, Caucasian, and people of all colors and all faiths, young and young at heart, once woven together that is impossible to tell us apart. And that's really been a big mission. And for this one went out, and this one with an amazing team of our cultural leader, Kimokeo Kapalehua, and Joel Tobe, Anthony Fluke, Ethan. They went out there and to deliver it to the people of Christchurch in 8 sections. So it really represents the 8 islands as well, and this is the 8th lei that we've done for Lei of Aloha. And I want to share with you, because you'll love this with all your writing, Cynthia, is that Dr. Martin Luther King had said something, and was beautiful, beautiful what he said. And it says, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And it reminded me of our last queen, Queen Liliuokalani. And she said, the way to lose any earthly kingdom is to be inflexible, intolerant, and prejudicial. Another way is to be too flexible, tolerant of too many wrongs, and without judgment at all. It is the razor's edge. It is the width of a blade of peely grass. And we look to these within ourselves and the weaving and going out. And Auntie Taki said, the world will turn to Hawaii as they search for world peace, because Hawaii has the key, and the key is aloha. So we're coming back to that, which is just beautiful.
And it's so beautiful the way it all came together. And I know they just arrived back from New Zealand. Did Anthony, Ron, and the group that Chemo have anything to say about what the experience was like in Christchurch?
Yes, we have part of the team back, so which came in today, and so Kimokeo and Ethan has just arrived. We picked them up at the airport earlier, so we still have part of our team out there, and we want to continue our prayers and for their safety and the depth of it. That this one in particular, for Hawaii to come and for people to come, and for not to looking at religion and culture or race, and to come because we're all connected. We all are one. And the moving experiences, not just giving it to the mosque, that was part of it in Christchurch, to give it to a secondary mosque and to connect to a third mosque, that they connected to the first responders, to the police chief and the police department, to the hospital. And it's not just the 50 that have perished. It's those that are still fighting for their lives, including a little girl. And, they've got families and fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers and children and the people that have perished. And we think about these kind of things and we go, gosh, could this happen to any of us? And, there's been things happening in our world, and we've got to reach out. So
I was just there, Alalani. I was just there over the holidays, and right before Christmas, I was there December 8th through I think about the 20th, and I never had seen such a friendly place. I mean, there is a deep connection there. If you go to the museums and everything, you see the connection, of course, to Hawaii.
Thank you. I remember when I was with my kupuna, Hanai Father, Papa David Ka'alakea, and we were at the palace, Iolani Palace, the overthrow and commemoration, and they came, the Maori people, and they chanted, and it was so powerful. In themselves, they're like, we are home. We are home. These deep cries, these deep chants, and that our connection, we have a deep connection from Hawaii to Aotearoa, to New Zealand, to the Maori people, and the peace that lives there is also here. And it was a journey. It was probably the toughest agricultural things that we've ever had to go through, because they have the toughest of the world.
Oh, they do, to get that in, right? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. You had to get permission to allow the lei in, right?
We did. We not only had to get permission, but we had to, special people came to help and remove all the oxygen from the bends that we had, and to remove that all. And even though they were all, pre-cooked or pre-frozen, or the leis that we were making, we got fresh, Kimokeo and others would bring from their lands. The community would bring their lai and their tea leaf plants, and we would do it there and make sure that they were ironed or always or boiled. But still, it was very, very strict, and we were very blessed. Literally at the end, that a representative came and helped us, and when we were at the airport, with Ron and those acknowledged that we worked with them, and they gave the paperwork, and they sent it to New Zealand, and it flew. And that's the times where we know that Keakua, that God is, and the divine is an instrument of this, because it's guided, and it's big to enter these places after terrorist attacks, and the aloha has been stronger, and the connections with the divine and the prayers that are woven into each strand by so many hundreds of thousands. And so mahalo to our community and all those that support the lay.
When I landed in Auckland, there's this beautiful, when you come into the airport in Auckland, you go through these tiki pillars and you hear, they have it broadcast really loud, the chant, their welcoming chant. Right there as you walk in, which was so powerful. And then again, so many ways it's connected and so many things that are similar. But again, I'm sure that a lot of the people there couldn't believe that it could happen there, because it is such a magical, friendly, open land. And I mean, I have to say, when you see it happen there, you thought, well, if it could happen there, it could happen anywhere. I didn't want to speak the words that maybe it could happen here.
Right, you're so right about that. Thank you for sharing about that welcoming chant. And Anthony Flute came and sang his song that he's written for the Lei of Aloha, and that was even big, because big aspects there that are different with the mosque and different with others' beliefs, and it was beautiful to bring the Hawaiian music. I donated a Hawaiian flag and a pū, and that Hawaiian flag is now there. It's right there.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? That
is
so
We're
special.
All one.
And I have to say, the Prime Minister Jacinda has been such an example of how to handle these hard situations, and I think many leaders can learn from how she went about handling this in her country. And it was
absolutely,
wasn't it amazing to watch her and her beauty and her real caring?
It was amazing. It was amazing to see her say, even at the end, "We are one," which has been part of the Lei of Aloha, and it's moving throughout the world. And sister, that in all of your writings about peace and world peace, and in Hawaiian it's called maluhia, invoking peace, how important it is. And she just stepped up and she shared so much, and it was so beautiful what she shared. And the mayor of Christtown also met the group. They received the pū as well.
They did. Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, they were met, and the chief of police met them, and they were met by people there that welcomed the lay and allowed them to come to visit the mosque, to stand in the place where the people were and the shooter were, to be able to bring prayers and to bring that message of hope. And it was very moving for those going out, and our delegates from Maui. Delegates from Hawaii.
Well, you just said the word, because my last CD was peace, music, and poems, but I got a message that the next one should be on hope. So I've written about 24 messages and poems on hope, and my next CD that's going to be out this year is on hope. And when we see these things that try to bring the world down, terrorism brings the world down, and fear and anger, and it gets the world depressed and heartbroken. We need to keep our hearts open and hope. And when you do these Leis of Aloha, and all of the people do come together and share that pure aloha with others, there's a spirit that is connecting the world and gives people hope that there are so many more good people than bad people in the world, and
there is, and we have to, no matter what happens, keep bringing love, keep bringing hope, keep bringing it. I had just come back, and my partner was copying a DVD that from my great uncle's film that he did in India. He did the first one actually outside of the United States in 1932, and the second one I have in cold storage from my mother, as you knew my mom, Triana.
Oh, yeah, Triana.
And those, and back, and it's all in India, and so I hadn't seen even a moment and I walked by the TV, and there was Ravi Shankar when he was young, and all shot in India. And that message of that movie, which I hope someone will help me get out there for all of us, is about world peace. And I'm thinking,
Really?
what is the synchronicity? And the synchronicity of the world coming together now, and all that we're striving for peace. We're not looking for war. We have to come into a place of love for all of us and link up globally, no matter what we believe. We're all connected. We're all part of the divine. We're all related, you know?
And I don't know if they videotaped it, but I hope it wasn't. And again, people like Anthony, who I've just watched grow up since he's been 16 and 17 years old playing this music,
right?
and just being able to see him be able to share it, because, you know, music does carry that spirit of aloha so beautifully as well. And all
he does.
He does. He's so pure and you know, with
I know when he was in Las Vegas, I mean, the people, they were like, "Oh, Hawaii's coming out," and he sang that in Las Vegas, and I mean, just the healing that went on for the people of Las Vegas, and so many, you know, as we laugh about that, you know, or it's true, kind of in a way that you know, Las Vegas is our ninth island because we have so many of the people here that have gone to live there. And so it was so healing to have that music, to have that chanting, to have that protocol, to have them hold the leis and be part of the healing. And Anthony Fluke was just such a part of it. We are watching him grow up, and he's playing at Nalu's South Shore Grill every week now, sometimes twice a week. And we get to hear his messages, and they're messages of peace and hope and aloha.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what's really needed for healing in this world. With so much going on that can really be divisive, it's so important to keep that aloha spirit alive. And I think that's what the Lei of Aloha does. And I was just so thrilled when I saw that, and I saw all your posts and pictures. And I hope a documentary really can be made about this, because I think that will share that even further if we can have a documentary made.
I hope so too. I hope people can do that. I mean, because we think about wherever it is, like this could be thousands of miles away, and yet we are connected. And if something happened here in Hawaii, was lighter all around that it won't. You know, that the people of the world would be connected to us, that we have to keep reaching out, and that we don't see us separate, or they don't see us separate because of what we believe, or this or that or the other, that we are all one, and that it takes love, and it takes peace, and it takes all of us reaching out to each other to come and look for that in our world, no matter what's going on in other places and politics or wherever. We have to come back to the source of it all.
We only about 30 seconds left, but I want to have a second for you to tell people how to reach you, because you do such beautiful work, and I know you are continuing to do your ceremonies. You started 30 years ago.
Well, thank you. I'm at HawaiianCeremonies.com. Anybody can look up Hawaiian Ceremonies or Hawaiian Blessings for that. But for this moment, it's actually about the Lei of Aloha. So please, anyone, you can still support. We're needing to bring in a little bit more to help this journey and all of that's taken to fund this. You can go to GoFundMe.com/NZLei. Again, that's GoFundMe.com/NZ Lei. Or you can go to Nalu's South Shore Grill in Kihei and offer your support. We're looking to get to we just bring in another, I think $5,000 will be good, and we'll be ready to go to the next one when anyone needs in the world.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to call in, Alalani. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too, Cynthia.
God bless
we love you. Or Cindy, I should always say Cindy. God bless you. God bless all the listeners, too. We're all one, everybody.
Aloha.
Okay, ahui ho, malama pono.
Thank you. Bye-bye.